Let go. Smash that like. All right, all right. Okay. Chip. All right, all right, all right.
Hi, this is America's Pastor inviting you to stay tuned for the world's greatest boxing commentary as he continues on the road to 10,000. Now he's back at it like a crack addict, giving you boxing geekers that work. I want you to put your hands together and give him some love as we welcome the one, the only T-Dub.
There it is. Yo, what up with it? You know it's your boy T-Dub, Mr. Whatsblazing. I'm back at it like a crack at it, giving you boxing geekers this work. What's cracking lacking, guys? It is Thursday, one day step closer to Friday. And you know how we do on the weekends. We get it in the best way. We know how. Guys, been a minute since I've been live on a weekday. You already know this weekend. I think we got some fights coming up. Should be live. Next weekend, we're live. We're going to talk about it, man. Listen, guys. Shawn Porter, Terence Crawford. This one will be interesting. I can't wait to see how everything shake, rattle, and roll when the final bell rings. And the final bell doesn't mean 12. It just means whenever it's the final bell rings, right? Whenever somebody stopped, whenever they ding, 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 it's over, it's over. And we have two magnificent fighters with two completely different styles, and they both have something to fight for. Terence Crawford, why is this? Okay. Terence Crawford probably has a lot more to fight for. Terence Crawford has the pound for pound mystique behind him. People is questioning his resume, saying he hasn't really fought nobody. They're saying, listen, you had the easiest road to being 140 pound undisputed champion, right? You know? So they saying this is your real test. And I'm not going to dispute anybody or argue with anybody about what he did at 140 or how tough the road is or how tough it's not. But the simple fact is, Shawn Porter is real work. Like, this is real work. When Shawn Porter get in that ring, there is no white collar work. It is blue collar work from the start to the finish. I started watching some Shawn Porter and Earl Spence Jr. I was watching a little bit of that fight again today, and guys, man, like, that was a good fight. Shawn Porter was boxing and banging that fight, man. You talking about a fight that has replay value. Earl Spence versus Shawn Porter. And the one thing I like about Shawn Porter is that after he loses, it seems like he comes back harder. He's not a guy that loses and then he gets softer and softer and softer, and then he ended up becoming a stepping stone and a stepping stone and a stepping stone, right? First, he's a stepping stone for the stars that are almost to the top, and then they use him. And then he's the ones that are not even starred, maybe have like 10 fights, and then you just, and then you're just that. Shawn Porter has proven that, listen, man, even with the losses he got, they have been against elite competition. And it's not like he just losing to dramatic fashion against elite competition. Errol Spence, that was a close fight. Many people believe the knockdown that Errol Spence Jr. got on Shawn Porter decided the fight. Many people had Shawn Porter up in that fight. In the building, they won the only American Bout to Travelers that teed up. What it do? Salute, man. Hey, I dropped that new intro as well. I dropped it. And man, like I said, man, who are you picking during this fight? Shawn Porter, in my opinion, I think he really believes he can beat Terence Crawford. I mean, really. I think when he fought Keith Thurman, I think he believed, like, in his skills that, hey, I think I can beat Keith Thurman. And he trained his butt off, and he tried to win. Then even when he fought Errol Spence Jr., I think Errol Spence Jr. talking all that smack to Shawn Porter. You can't sell this. You can't beat that. You just a dirty fighter. You just a rough and rugged. Everybody know you. Elbows. And I think that actually added to motivation for Shawn Porter to train to try to give Errol Spence the best he had. But I really believe that he thinks he can really beat Terence Crawford, because I believe that he believes Terence Crawford never wanted this fight. They already said that 2 years ago they tried to fight Terence Crawford, and Terence Crawford like, hey, I got some other things coming up, and if they don't pan out, then I'll come back to you. They said, guess what? He never came back to us. He don't want this fight. Yeah, he wanted to fight a PBC fighter, but he didn't want this. Shawn Porter is feeling like, in a way, that Terence Crawford don't want that smoke. This is a bad matchup for Terence Crawford. And this is feeding Shawn Porter's ego that he can actually beat Terence Crawford. And he is going to train harder than he trained before. Guys, just like I said in the title, Tank Davis. So in case some of you guys have not heard, Shawn Porter has Gervonta Tank Davis. Either they doing a joint simultaneous combined, maybe, like, they're not, maybe, yeah, let's not say combining camps, but they may be like overlapping. Okay, I'm gonna get some sparring with Shawn Porter here, and then blah blah blah. But yes, it is out there that Shawn Porter has been sparring with Gervonta Davis. Guys, what I would give to be a fly on the wall to see that sparring. Oh my gosh, even though Tank Davis is smaller, woo, you talking about styles make fights. To me, even though, Gervonta Davis is not a 147 pounder, but when you look at their style, right? Gervonta Davis is a come forward, more effective style fighter. Shawn Porter is pretty much a come forward, more effective style fighter. Don't get me wrong, Shawn Porter has evolved from the not Adrian Broner, but the Andre Berto. He has evolved from that fight where he was labeled elbows and heads and all that stuff. He has evolved, and he has mixed in, I believe, very fair, a very good boxing game, countering game with a lot of speed that has been there, but he has not got a lot of credit for that speed because of the brawling tactics, which a lot of people have labeled him a dirty fighter. But Shawn Porter, in my eyes, he has improved on each fight. It's just that when it comes to Keith Thurman and Errol Spence and even Kell Brook, he was that close, but not close enough. And guys, like I said, this matchup between him and Terence Crawford, was a guy that, he was orthodox more and switched to southpaw, and now, honestly, he's more like a southpaw fighter who switches to orthodox for a hot second before he goes back to southpaw, or he may start in orthodox for a hot second, then he'll just stay to southpaw. But he fights in southpaw a lot. So let's talk about this matchup again, right? We got Gervonta Davis, who is in training camp right now to take on the Mexican version, the pit bull of Mike Tyson, right? To me, he is like a Mike Tyson. He's a short, stout, stocky, and he comes forward and he throws a lot of, like, to me, looping hooks type of punches, right? Those looping hooks and type of punches. And Shawn Porter is in camp for Terence Crawford. Well, how can they help each other? Well, before we talk about how can they help each other, how can they not help each other, let's just talk about, to be honest, that is some great work. Like, that is some great work. And I imagine by them working together, I imagine that they probably would never fight. I just don't see it. By time Gervonta Davis, if he ever moves to 147, I would see at that point Shawn Porter would have been the mood, or something in the whole 147 whole landscape would have shifted, right? It would have been where those guys up there will probably be transitioning to 154, or either some of them transitioning to retirement, as we see the rise of Boots and Virgil Ortiz and these young guns, right? Gervonta Davis, he's a southpaw. Terence Crawford's a southpaw. Now, I do believe in this matchup of sparring, I do believe that it helps out Gervonta Davis a lot more than it helps out Shawn Porter. Why? Because Pitbull is going to be a come forward fighter, right? Come forward, a lot of hooks, a lot of pressure, right? That's where Shawn Porter comes in. Shawn Porter is going to be a bigger, probably the same speed, maybe even stronger version of the guy he's going to fight. That is no doubt going to help Gervonta Davis, because Shawn Porter is no real. When I say most sparring partners, when we look at sparring partners, are guys that are good, but they're not quite your level. They can give you work, but you should be, getting the best of them, most of the time. But how much can Gervonta Davis help Shawn Porter compared to Terence Crawford? I mean, you can't look at it like iron sharpens iron. There's a lot of difference between Gervonta Davis and Terence Crawford. Gervonta is a come-ahead fighter, right? Come-ahead, big punches, shorter reach, power, and then Terence Crawford, taller, longer reach, timing. They are different. They do have being southpaw is the same, but to be honest, Terence Crawford and Gervonta Davis, they are different. But listen, maybe they're working on specific things. Maybe they have Gervonta Davis to do the southpaw version of Terence Crawford, and they may have somebody else to do the orthodox version of Terence Crawford. But guys, when it come down to this, when I'm seeing who will win, who are you picking? To be honest, I don't know what's going to happen. This is what I feel. I feel Shawn Porter is extremely confident. I feel Shawn Porter is feeling, because they just did a virtual press conference. But Shawn Porter showed up first, did about 26 minutes or 30 minutes of work first, and for whatever reason, Terence Crawford could not go live. They did not get Terence Crawford live for that virtual press conference. If you have not seen it, it is on YouTube right now. You just got to YouTube it, and it'll pop up somewhere in the selection. You will see Shawn Porter, and Shawn Porter is confident. He is confident about what he is confident. He said, listen, he said, Terence Crawford is a rhythm fighter. He is not going to get in the rhythm with me. I'm going to disrupt that rhythm. Guys, listen, man. I just want to know, right? Because when I saw Errol Spence Jr. versus Shawn Porter, the first round, Shawn Porter actually was more the boxer. Errol Spence put his foot in the middle of the ring, and he was the one that was kind of like being more the dictator pressure fighter in the first round. But now I wonder, as we have seen of late, the pressure fighters have got the job done. Think about it, right? Tyson Fury, Shakur Stevenson, Canelo Alvarez, right? The pressure fighters that can box have got the job. They got the job done. Is Shawn Porter going to look and like, listen, these are the guys that are getting the job done. The ones that have been sitting back like Caleb Plant trying to stick and move, these guys have been losing. And if Shawn Porter is probably watching that Canelo versus Caleb Plant. Shawn Porter is probably looking at Terence Crawford like Caleb Plant, which you cannot really compare, because in my opinion, Terence Crawford is pound for pound better than Caleb Plant. Not knocking Caleb Plant, but Terence Crawford skill-wise, compared power-wise, at the levels they're at, being able to switch it up. I should have really did a video to go more in depth for the Canelo and Caleb Plant, give you more thoughts about that. I should have done that. Just been very busy, man. Work has been crazy. I'm actually working from home today. I got a little bit of a break, man. They've been working me like crazy. And then when I get home, I get the family, kids. But we are back, man. We're talking about it. We're getting live. Smash the like button, guys. If you catch this on replay, do me a favor, guys. Just like my boy American Pastor Travis said in the intro, we are on the road to 10,000, guys. We have about 3,000 more of the family members, the blazing coming in, spitting hot fire for your boy. Heat Seekers coming in. Come on in, subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell, guys. Join the chat. Give your smoke. We will be live on most of these fight nights, giving you boxing geekers that work. This is what we do. Now, guys, Terence Crawford, he said, I'm going with Shawn Porter on this one. Woo! See? I'm going with Terence, man. I'm going with Terence Crawford. I'm going with my boy Terence Crawford. Listen, I think this is going to get ugly for Terence. I think Terence Crawford is going to be, it's going to be tough. But I think Terence Crawford is going to keep his composure. I think Shawn Porter is going to get hit with some sneaky shots that he don't see. Because a lot of times, when Shawn Porter get caught with shots, is when he's throwing shots. Like when Shawn Porter get the a lot of times he's throwing his shots and he leaves his head up because he's looking at where he's trying to land these big shots. And I think Terence Crawford is going to land something. And don't get me wrong, I got this fight at 51, 52% in favor for Terence Crawford. That mean it's a dog fight. That mean there's as slim as a margins to where that this fight can be Shawn Porter can get it, because Shawn Porter said, listen, man, he said, if Mean Machine can do that to you, if Mean Machine can do it to you, what do you think I can do to you? And guys, listen, man, I gotta show you guys something. You know how they always talk about Tyson Fury in that wild boar meat? Guy, look, I went out and found some force of nature ground wild boar meat. You know what I'm saying? Uncastrated. Listen, guys, anybody try to fight me now, I'm about to eat the wild uncastrated boar meat. And I think it says that make sure to eat after taking something illegal. But now I'm just joking. But I saw this in the store yesterday. I like, what? I gotta buy it. I gotta buy this, and I gotta try this. I gotta buy it and I gotta try it. I don't even know how I'm gonna cook it, man. I don't know if this is like ground wild boar that you're supposed to eat like a sausage patty or something, or I don't know, man. We're gonna figure it out. I'll figure it out. But listen, man, Shawn Porter does he scared me in this fight. If I'm a Terence Crawford fan, I would be a little scared in this fight because Shawn Porter doesn't really get tired. Shawn Porter doesn't really, even when Errol Spence Jr. came out there, and Errol was looking to put the pressure on Shawn Porter, looking to go to the body of Shawn Porter early. And it never really slowed Shawn Porter down. Even when he caught him with the shot later in the fight, it never really slowed him down. I think Shawn Porter conditioning is it's up there with the best. Probably second to none. And this is going to be a fight that Terence Crawford is going to he's going to have to be dialed in every second of every round. Because I don't see him knocking out Shawn Porter. If he do knock out Shawn Porter, that's impressive. If Terence Crawford can stop, because Shawn Porter got one of those like them size heads that, you know, that like a bobblehead. You know, he got that body that's kind of short, but he got that big bobble. He got a big head, man. You know, he got that head where he played football, where no matter what helmet the coach gave him, like, nah, this fit tight too, coach. You know, where the the ear pads are all tight up here. Some of the cheek pads on his ears. You know, he got a big head, man. This is gonna be hard for Terence Crawford. Like, it's hard for me to pick against Terence Crawford because I believe he is training. He knows what's going to come, and I like the way that he can make adjustments on the fly. But he gets hit. I have compared Terence Crawford, some of his skills in the past with Floyd, but I think he gets hit more than Floyd Mayweather, and that's where the opportunity of a Shawn Porter will come into place. This is going to be interesting. I can't even really predict what's going to happen. I mean, who you got winning this? I can't predict it. Shawn Porter got Gervonta Tank Davis in count. Remember last time when he was getting ready for Errol Spence Jr.? Who was that he had in count? Was that David Benavidez or was that somebody else? It might have been Benavidez. I don't remember. Shawn Porter has Gervonta Tank Davis in count. And Gervonta Tank Davis, you can imagine that he like, listen, I ain't no PUSSY. What's up? And he probably want to test his skills anyway, because Shawn Porter is no easy work. That is like, when you spar Shawn Porter, it's like sparring against the best. No matter if he's not ranked number one at welterweight, you know that Shawn Porter would give anybody that at welterweight that issue. Man, who wins, man? Like I said, man, my boy American Path to Travel, he says that Shawn Porter got it. I can't can't even argue. I'm going with Terence, but it's going to come down. It's going to come down. Let me look in the camera. It's going to come down to if Terence Crawford has learned and if he can deal with the inside pressure from Shawn Porter. Rashard, what's up, champ? Bud by Slaughter. Bud not going to respect Shawn Pillow Fist. Listen, bro, I don't think they that much pillow fist, man. After looking at Errol Spence Jr. face after that fight, I don't think they that much pillow fist, bro. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't think he's like a one-punch knockout artist, but I don't think he's that. I think you're gonna respect what he can do, but if Terence Crawford can handle the inside work from Shawn Porter, which means if I was Terence Crawford, see, I don't know how he's going to approach this. He can have a couple ways to approach this. If he sees Shawn Porter coming in, he can use angles, combinations, check hooks, pivot outs, and never really let Shawn Porter get comfortable on the inside. Just always just know at some point Shawn Porter is going to come in, and when Shawn Porter comes in, he sells out. When I'm talking about selling out, like even when he fought Broner was bagging up. He kept throwing these hooks all the way till he got there. Like when he wants to get in, he sells out. Sometimes he do this double dutch thing where he's like he's looking for an opportunity to spring forward. And that's where the timing of Terence Crawford going to come in. And that's where the decision making of Terence Crawford going to come in. Do you hit him with something hot, right hand, or maybe he's in a southpaw position? Maybe throw a right hook, pivot, left hand, back with the jab again, keep using angles, or does Terence Crawford stay in the pocket? Because a lot of times when Shawn Porter is inside, a lot of them shots are hooks. But now some of them are tight. They're right. They're tight shots. And if Terence Crawford can roll and catch those shots, boom, boom, come in between, come back over, come in between, it can be very interesting. But either way, Shawn Porter would take shots to give shots. When Shawn Porter fought Danny Garcia, I remember Danny Garcia cracking this boy with a left hook. Shawn Porter, Shawn Porter forehead. You see it right there. You see it right there. Shawn Porter got a forehead. And Danny Garcia cracked that boy with a right there on the forehead. Shawn Porter and hit him. Boom, boom. Shawn Porter would take shots to give shots. If Porter's dad brings the same trainer into camp that it was used for dispense with, Shawn has a very good chance of beating Crawford by decision. Listen, man, like I said, bro, this can get real ugly, man. This can get real ugly. I'm talking like some of them booger wolves that some of you guys, you know what I'm saying? You know, out there at the club, you know what I'm saying? Lonely nights. You took home that booger wolf in the corner, you know, didn't want to tell nobody. You know about it. You messed around, felt dirty afterwards, took a shower for about 30 minutes, still felt dirty. It can get that ugly, man. You ain't tell nobody about her. You can get that ugly, man. Ooh. Brought back a flashback. Yeah. Need a shower right now thinking about it. All right. But, man, see, I got this. I'm favoring Terence Crawford, but it's a slim margin. Shawn Porter, to me, has a style that can push Terence like no other, because his style is going to make Terence Crawford have to think at a high level. It's going to force him to have to think, move, counter, think, move, get hit, blah, blah, think, move, blah, blah. I smash the like button too. It's going to make Terence Crawford think at the highest level, because if Terence Crawford ever frees up and he's like, damn, he's throwing too many punches, and if he ever gets that thought in his head, Shawn Porter's going to get off. Even if Terence Crawford catches those shots, that's going to be a moment for Shawn Porter. Because if Terence Crawford just catches him, and Shawn Porter it's going to look good to the crowd. And even if Terence Crawford said, nope, it's going to look good to the crowd, right? I believe as the fight go on, in my opinion, if Shawn Porter has not picked up an advantage in the early rounds, if it is an even fight in the early rounds, I will favor Terence Crawford going into later rounds. If Shawn Porter had picked up an advantage in the early rounds, if Shawn Porter can pick up an advantage, then he have to keep that ball rolling. But if he has not picked up an advantage, or if it's an even fight in them early rounds, I'm going with Terence Crawford. But if Shawn Porter can just messing him up in the first 5 rounds, you got Shawn Porter up 4 rounds to 1, something like that, it can be a long night for him. Shawn never sat down on his shots, so his shots not as effective. But if Shawn gets hurt, blame Bud detectors. Give Shawn a Purple Heart for taking the fight. Listen, now, Rashad, I gotta say this, man. I don't think Shawn just took the fight. I think Shawn won the fight. Listen, Shawn Porter went on Instagram, not Instagram, but Twitter, maybe a couple years back, and he shot his shot at Terence Crawford. Then he wanted to fight. Shawn Porter has been wanting to fight Terence Crawford for, like they said, probably about 2 years. I think it's really been more Terence Crawford's side who has not been as interested to fight Shawn Porter. I think they wanted to fight Earl Spence Jr., probably fight maybe a Keith Thurman or Danny Garcia. I don't believe Shawn Porter was on that short list of PBC fighters that they really wanted to fight. But this is the fight. This is the fight that they got. It's crazy how it got it. Listen, guys, I would not put it past Al Heyman, because remember, think about this. At first, Shawn Porter was number 1. Then out of nowhere, Virgil Ortiz get bumped over Shawn Porter. Then out of nowhere, Shawn Porter get bumped over Ortiz, and it's pretty much mandated for him to fight Terence Crawford. Man, I'm telling you, Al Heyman has something to do with that, bruh. Al Heyman has something to do with that. Al Heyman got on that phone when talking that, blah 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 blah. They said, okay, Heyman, okay, Mr. Heyman, and they said, hold on, before we do this for you, we gotta know that you're real. Push visual, show us your face one time. Al Heyman pushed that live video for 1 second, looked at them for 1 second, pushed it back. He's real. Make it. Porter. Mandatory. So many days. Tell Bob, doesn't matter what happened, doesn't matter what we talk about Virgil. No more in the house. He gotta do PVC now. Man, listen. Even if you believe that Shawn Porter doesn't punch hard, even if you believe that, everyone. Matter of fact, I'm gonna Google it right now. Watch this. And Shawn, let me see. I'm gonna look at Earl Spence Jr. Let me do this. Now, I want you guys to know, like some of my favorite fighters right now is Shawn Porter, Earl Spence, Deontay Wilder. These are some of my favorite fighters right now. Let me see. No, we do this one. So what I'm doing, I'm going to save an image. I'm going to bring it over real quick. Let's do this. This is Earl Spence. Add image. All right. Where's it at? Okay, here we go. That's big. All right. Bring it down. Okay. Now, guys, listen, man. Let me do this. Listen, guys. Blow it up. Boom. Shift. Boom. Look, man. This is Earl Spence Jr. face after fighting Shawn Porter. If you look at I guess with your left side, his right side, and there's other pictures where his face is turned. That right jaw is swollen. The right eye is swollen. Earl Spence took some lumps on his fight. Remember, even when he fought Keith Thurman. Remember, Keith Thurman wasn't trying to stay in that heat like that. Listen, guys, that's what I'm saying, man. Even if Shawn Porter is not knocking these people out like that, these people are not staying in that heat. Listen, it's one thing to call somebody, a feather-fisted puncher, and then there's another thing standing in there and taking that swarm. That's like Tim Bradley. Tim Bradley, had a lot of muscle, but he never knocked a lot of people out. But yet he never took a lot of losses either. He only lost to Manny Pacquiao, right? Shawn Porter, like a guy, he doesn't have, he hasn't really knocked a lot of people out like that. But his power, that brawling, smothering style, well, not his power, I would just say that because the accumulation and punching and not allowing you to breathe, to suffocate you, to just taking your shots, that. And listen, Shawn Porter has gotten better. Since the Andre Berto fight, to where he was definitely in my opinion, a lot dirty in that fight, a lot dirtier. He has got better. Fought Keith Thurman, hell of a fight, got better after that. Think about this. The Shawn Porter that fought a close fight with Keith Thurman, the better version is when he fought Earl Spence Jr. He got better, and Earl Spence Jr. helped Shawn Porter get better by doing what? Talking smack, calling him a dirty fighter. You couldn't sell out a what do you say? You couldn't sell out a family reunion. Like you couldn't sell out a family reunion, bro. That's bad. And I think Shawn Porter took that to heart. Now, and that motivated Shawn Porter. Now, the motivation for this fight, I believe Shawn Porter believes Terence Crawford is scared of him. I believe, well, even if he's not scared, let's say not use the word scared, I believe Shawn Porter believes that this is a matchup that Terence Crawford don't favor. Because Shawn Porter is talking super tough. Listen, I don't even think I hear Shawn Porter talk this tough about Earl Spence Jr. I don't think he ever talked this tough about Keith Thurman, but he talking real tough. He talking churches, chicken greasy about Earl Spence Jr., not Earl Spence, but Terence Crawford. He talking 2 pieces in the biscuit with honey on top about Terence Crawford. He ain't gonna get no rhythm of me. He ain't really want to fight me. We tried to fight him 2 years ago. He didn't want this matchup. He wanted to fight a PBC fighter, but he didn't want to fight me. Shawn Porter's confidence is through the roof right now. And he knows that if he beats Terence Crawford, it puts him back in the realm to get the rematch with Earl Spence Jr., to get a unification match with Ugas, depending on what the WBA want to do with the Ugas. They about to have Ugas do a marathon against some people who they want to have the belt over him. It's Earl Spence. But hey, let's get the mics up, man. Hey, your boy T-Dub. I'm at work, working, giving you this work. Let's see who's coming up boxing this weekend. Again, man, this is a good one, guys. I'm excited. I'm excited to call this fight. I will be live. If nothing happens, I will be live. Hopefully my competitor is not watching this video. I'm like, man, I hope he says something I can flag him so he don't go live this weekend and I can get all the views. Let me see. Let's see who's fighting this weekend. Is it David Benavidez? Who's fighting this weekend? Let me see. Let's see. Dave Benavidez fighting this weekend. Jaime McGee fighting this weekend. Kid Gallahan, that's a UK fight, right? Yeah. Let me see. Maybe I do the Benavidez. Maybe the Jaime McGee versus Gabriel Rosado. Maybe. He said Spence don't have good footwork. He's too stationary. People who says Spence is better than Crawford is casual fans, but every great in boxing says Bud is the best, from Mayweather to Duran, Roy Jones Jr., Tony. Well, here's the thing. A lot of times, a lot of the fighters you name, they may favor Terence Crawford because of their style. Mayweather is a boxer like Terence Crawford. Roy Jones Jr. is a boxer. Duran, now that's a little bit different. Now James Toney was more of a counter puncher, probably like a Terence Crawford, but he stayed in the pocket a lot, especially in his older years. But again, man, I like both of the guys. I said a long time ago, if they fought, I favored Terence Crawford by 51%. I still think it'd be a good fight. I am not looking at what Shawn Porter. Even if Terence Crawford, whatever Terence Crawford do to Shawn Porter, let's say he wins, I am not going to use that as a measuring stick to what he can do to Earl Spence Jr. I think style makes fight. I think Earl Spence Jr. said this. He said, listen. He said, I am going to fight Shawn Porter fight and beat him at his own game. And he tried to do it. And he almost lost doing it, but he tried to beat Shawn Porter at his game. And I really believe that. He tried to outbox Mikey, because he really tried to outbox him. He didn't try to brawl Mikey. If Earl Spence Jr. would have took that same game plan that he did against Shawn Porter and took it to Mikey Garcia, he would have stopped Mikey Garcia, in my opinion. Probably would have stopped him in about 4 or 5 rounds. Because he outboxed the boxer. He tried to outbang the banger. But Shawn Porter has a. Shawn Porter is not just a banger; he can box as well. But in this case, if Shawn Porter tries to box Terence Crawford, I don't think he's going to win at that. Shawn Porter had a tough time with Ugas, because Ugas is a really good counterpuncher that goes under the radar for his counterpunching ability. Really good counterpuncher, and he pop a little pop because even Shawn Porter didn't really want that much heat. Now, I don't know if Terence Crawford is cracking like Ugas. Even it's crazy. Even though Ugas is not known for being cracking like that, but Shawn Porter, Shawn Porter at the end of that fight, his face was looking kind of like like bruised up a little bit. That was a fight that many people thought that Shawn Porter could have lost, or they could have thought it could have been a draw. And Ugas is not a person that really uses the ring. He kind of fights at one speed. He has a good jab. He will counter punch. And the one thing I like about Ugas is when Shawn Porter came in that wild style, Ugas was like boom, 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 digging them shots right back to the liver, the soda flex, and the body of Shawn Porter. But again, style makes fights, right? Terence Crawford, he's a smaller fighter. He does have reach, but he can crack. But here's the thing: even though he can crack, have we seen Terence Crawford crack a top welterweight like that? Right? Let's go to his let's put up his box rack. Let's pull up his box rack. That's why I'm saying, listen, man. Like, I think this fight, again, I got them first early rounds. Woo! I got Terence Crawford is going to be going through Hurricane Katrina. He's going to be going through Desert Storm. He's going to be going through it, and I want to see how he handles that. So here we go. He got Shawn Porter coming up on the 20th, which, guys, I should be live. Come through. It doesn't matter if you're watching or not. Come through. If you want to hear the commentating, and you want to know the blow-by-blow, leave the volume up. I got you. If you just want to come through, watch the fight, but also have a live fight chat party where you can talk in between rounds about what's going on between, be on the same round that we are. You know what I'm saying? You can do that as well. Just come through, show your support, smash the like button. Kell Brook, right? Kell Brook, who many believe was not in his prime. Kell Brook was actually outboxing Terence Crawford in the beginning of the fight. Kell Brook was doing very well until he wasn't doing well, right? Kell Brook was doing well until his eye wasn't doing well, and it was like a jump right hook jab from Crawford, kind of like a jump in jab hook, like a counter jab hook. Because Kell Brook, I believe, Kell Brook is trying to come in like with that filler jab to try to set up a lead right hand, and Kell Brook was trying to fill with it, and Crawford kind of jumped and came over the top and caught him, hit him in the eye, and when he hit him in the eye, it was like a chip malfunction, and everything just went down the hill from there from Kell Brook. But he got Kell Brook out of there. Mean Machine was doing good the first 5 rounds. Some people say he dropped Terence Crawford. I believe he did hurt him. I believe if Mean Machine would have got space and threw some punches, Terence Crawford would have went down. But what I saw was Terence Crawford was hurt. Mean Machine was throwing punches, and he actually pushed to actually get the knockdown. So, I mean, it would have been a knockdown if he would have did it right, but I think he actually pushed at the end. Amir Khan quit, in my opinion. Jose Benavidez Jr. got shot. Jeff Horn got his fame off of Manny Pacquiao, and I think that's what he did at welterweight. And all those ended some type of stoppages. Con Enigma in the building. What's up, champ? What's going on with you, big dog? It's teed up in the gym listening to the best commentator. I believe Earl was forced into the Porter-style fight. I mean, listen, I don't think so, man. Listen, he said I am going to beat you at your own game. Even like when I rewatched it, the commentator said, in like the first round, or the beginning of the first round, that Errol Spence said he's going to take it to Shawn Porter and beat him at his own game, and Tom will bang with him. I really believe, I don't think he was forced into it at all, because Shawn Porter came out being the mover and boxer in that fight, and Errol Spence came out pushing forward. But listen, even though he wasn't forced into it, he damn near lost. He damn near lost, but he caught Shawn Porter with a left hook when Shawn Porter was getting ready to throw, and Shawn Porter opened himself up and throwing that wild punch with his chin up, and then Errol Spence caught that chin. And think about it. Errol Spence, with all that power, caught that chin with his strongest punch, his strongest arm, his left hand, and it only dropped Shawn Porter to like a fist touch, maybe a fist knee touch, before bouncing back up and saying, "Let's go." I'm telling you, man, this is gonna be a long night for Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford going to be dialed in all night, bro. I'm telling you, he's going to be like all night. If he mess around and space out and think about something else, and Shawn Porter end up jumping, I'm telling you, Shawn Porter might go back to the Adrian Broner style. Not Adrian Broner, but the Andre Broner style. He might get a little dirty, because this fight for Shawn Porter, for him, is possibly his last elite fight at a direct title, is what I'm saying. Because after this fight, he can still get a Boost innings. He can get a Virgil Ortiz. He can get these guys, right? He can get these guys. But this might be his last direct shot at a title. And this is probably a win by any means necessary. And listen, if Terence Crawford come out as a southpaw, and Shawn Porter is an orthodox fighter, one of the things that happen more often is headbutts. Shawn Porter has been accused of headbutts. I am just saying, don't be surprised if some incidental headbutts happen in this matchup. Don't be surprised. And don't be surprised if it happens and Terence Crawford gets frustrated. Just saying. What we got there? Let me see. D-Ray in the building. What's up, champ? I see the diamond, champ. What's up with the big dog? What the diamond stand for? I hope it stands for me giving you this no cloud in this stone type of work. Oh, hold up. Somebody sent me something. Hold up. Remember, guys, I'm working while I'm working. Hold on. All right. So, remember, guys, when I say I'm working while I'm working, I have my YouTube stuff here, camera, my regular work stuff right here. Respond to that. I have to do that. Let's see what we got. Con Enigma says subscribe and hit the like button. No smash. No smash the like button. Smash the like button. Rashad Pippin says every Bud fight at welterweight ended in knockout, and Shawn never been, so it's interesting. Yeah, every shot has been knocked out, but you can look at the competition. Who is he knocked out? I don't know if he knocks out Shawn Porter. If Terence Crawford knocks out Shawn Porter, that is impressive. I look at Shawn Porter as a welterweight as he is one of the top welterweights. Even though he's been dropped by Broner and he's been dropped by Errol Spence Jr., I think Shawn Porter got a pretty decent chin on him. Listen, bro, you seen this guy head, man. You seen his head. Listen, Shawn Porter probably wears he probably has to wear custom sized t-shirts. He wore a medium shirt with a tailor-made extra large neck collar. Listen. Otherwise, every time he put a shirt on, that head just stretches the neck out, man. I wouldn't be surprised if he has to wear V-necks for every time out just to get it over that head, man. That boy got a head on him, bro. Shawn Porter he used to take a lot of shots. He's getting better. He is mixing in now the boxing very well. I like the angles very well. And then this is interesting because Shawn Porter, as I think about it, when I talk to you guys, it's like I'm visualizing what Shawn Porter's doing. I see him having you on the ropes, turning, trying to get those angles, getting off, trying to switch over. He's going to try to keep Terence Crawford off rhythm. And to be honest, in my opinion, I don't think Terence Crawford fight as much of a rhythm that Shawn Porter says he does. I think Terence Crawford reacts pretty well as well. I think that's why it's so interesting. I think Shawn thinks he fights on a rhythm, but I think Terence Crawford is more of an unorthodox fighter. Hits you with what he sees, counter punches very well, and we're going to see how well Shawn Porter can tame Terence Crawford power. Is his power really there? Is Shawn Porter going to be the first welterweight to go all 12 rounds, or will Terence Crawford sit him down too? Let me see. We debating if he will get knocked out or if he will survive. That says a lot. I don't get my crow because I had to leave early. I'm going with Bud. Smash the like button. Yes, sir. But all right, guys. That's about my time. I gave you guys, listen, I gave you guys an hour of this Midwest side Southern cooking. I'm from the Midwest. I spent some years in the South, guys. I hope you guys like this gumbo mix that I cooked up for you guys today. Smash the like button, subscribe to a friend, subscribe to the channel. Hit the like button. Remember, I would be live for this fight for sure. I would be live. It had to be some crazy come up. I might be live this weekend, not sure. Maybe I'll give you guys that David Benavidez work. It's some fights coming up. I definitely will be watching boxing, but guys, until next time, you know how we do it. Here is Whatsblazing the Sports, and I'm out.